Oh yeah, it's black. What do you do with it's black? Good evening and welcome to tonight's massive clash in the Men's Supa-Liga. We are coming to you live with a game that has enormous weight on ladder positions in the MSL. Currently the Cobras are flying high and have a nice winning streak that they've built up in third place with 35 points, and they're firmly in the hunt for the league premiership, whilst Longobarda, they need to try and hold on to their top 6 spot. They're in 20. Currently got 22 points, but have started out with a slow start to the season, or at least for 2026, after they came out so strong earlier on in the season. As this game is underway, here's Suarez, but McPherson comes through. Suarez goes down, almost foul called. We'll run you through the lineups for the evening for what promises to be a great game of futsal. For Longobarda, it's Bruno Di Gregorio, number 8, Emanuele Vicari, number 3, Ivan Palermo, number 9, Shaz Ramley, 15, Yusuf Berian, 36, Juan Calderon, number 1. As we'll just wait for this set piece. Chance for Suarez, and saved there by Ashmore. Speaking of Suarez, Lucas Suarez, number 27, James Hyung, number 12, Jose Garzon, 32, Wesley Onishi Azevedo, number 38, Nicholas Torres, 7, and Claudio Masfinu, number 6. For the West Coast Cobras, it's Jay Nashwell in goals, number 99, Tom Robles, number 1, Jake Pizzuto, 4, Dexter Hyde, 32, Luke Ross, number 10, Zephyr McPherson, 12, Claudio Cruz, 36, Noah Lum at 25, Mohamed Tatonchi, number 25, Marco. In fact, those numbers aren't quite right, but there's a shot by Pizzuto. But it's Tatonchi, number 25, in fact, who will take this. And it's a Marco Florenka, number 8, Luke McLaren, 31, and Diego Florenka also lining up for the West Coast Cobras tonight for his first game in quite some time. There's a shot by Ross, and that goes high. Last time these two teams played, it was the Cobras winning 3-2. It was a 2-0 lead. Lots of Longobarda, but in controversial circumstances in the last couple minutes of the game. In fact, last minute almost. A goal from Luke Ross got them across the line. And that really begun the beginning of the downhill ski that we've currently seen from Longobarda. They started so strong. And especially since that game, coming into that, they were undefeated, but they've haven't managed to win a whole lot more since then. And tonight they'll be looking to arrest that streak of poor performances. This will be Pizzuto to take. Goes to Ross. Back to Pizzuto. Ball through to McPherson. Pizzuto. Ross. Nice little flick. Finds McPherson, who gets a boot to it. Last touch off Suarez. McPherson, Ross, shot. Just goes wide. This will be taken here by Juan Calderon, who has missed a few weeks as well, I believe. Might be wrong on that, but here's Ramley. Back to Di Gregorio long and out into the hands of now Jaden Ashmore. Here's to Tonchi. To Tonchi to Ross. Pizzuto, back to Ross. Pizzuto. Almost loses it. Last touch is off him. Mo to Tonchi overruns it. There's Berrien. Can't find Suarez. Ross does well. Clears it away. And that's going to be taken here by Yusuf Berrien, who last time these two teams did play, scored one of the most remarkable goals you would see. Over his head, almost bicycle kick style. Here's Longobarda with the ball again. Here's Ramley. Out to Suarez. Suarez now building. Ends up with Di Gregorio. Suarez gets a touch on it. Blocked by Ross. Chance for Berrien. And he finished it! Yusuf Berrien gives Longobarda the early lead. Finds the bottom right corner. And despite the differences in form coming into this game, Longobarda with the early goal to really stun the Cobras. What a finish it was. And the Cobras now, it is up to them to respond. Ross. Off to Florenka. Ryan. Florenka back to Ryan. Cruz. Florenka. Two Florenkas playing tonight as Ross's shot goes way high. Marco Florenka currently on. Diego Florenka, I assume, will be coming on later tonight. Florenka. He'll take it down the line. Take a shot himself. Blocked by Di Gregorio. Ends up with Ross. Ross out to Ryan. Back to Ross. Now Florenka. Ross. Ryan. Marco Florenka with a shot and didn't get the connection he was after. Ramley to Berrien. Nice idea there from Di Gregorio, but just too far ahead of Berrien. On comes Palermo for Longobarda now. Pizzuto back on. Cruz. Pizzuto. Good ball through, finds Ryan. Ryan with a shot and just high. Calderon. Ramley goes long, turnover though, Ryan. Pizzuto. Florenka. Off to Pizzuto. Ryan. Goes back to Pizzuto. Tries to go through to Florenka, but just out too far ahead of him. And on now is Nicholas Torres for Longobarda. Pizzuto pounces onto it. Heavy touch, but wins it back. Cleared away there by Longo. Be taken here by Ashmore. Cruz. Florenka. Ryan, Florenka. Back to Ryan. Now Pizzuto. Good ball through to Ryan. Pizzuto makes the run. Ryan tries to find Pizzuto. Doesn't get through. Ryan gets a nice touch on it, and Marco Florenka can't keep it in. Ramley to Suarez, pressured by Ryan, and he can't keep it in. Cruz, Pizzuto, Cruz, Florenka. Florenka still tries to find Ryan, but out of his reach. Suarez to bring it in from touch. Receives from Ramley. Loses it. Ryan. Cruz. Cruz through to Pizzuto. Now out to Ryan. Ryan back to Cruz. Palermo does brilliantly, getting back defensively. Now Torres under pressure. Ramley down the line. Palermo under Pizzuto pressure. One here by Cruz in the middle. Chance for Florenka and way off on that shot. Long ball by Calderon. Palermo's there. Gets something on it. Can he get the follow-up? No. Still a chance, but Ashmore manages to grab it. But Palermo swung it to the outside of his boot and couldn't connect. And not a bad effort, though. And this ball goes out into touch. It'll be taken by Florenka. Now Dexter Hard on for the Cobras. Here is Hard, and Dexter Hard immediately comes on, and within about 5 seconds, gets that equalizer the Cobras have been looking for. And the assist will be Marco Florenka. What a finish there by Dexter Hard. And on comes Luke McLaren for his first minutes of what I've seen of this season for the West Coast Cobras. Ross, and here is Diego Florenka, also playing for the first time in quite a while. Ross to McLaren, Hard. Diego Florenka just gets to it, Hard. Last touch there, nice defense by Ramley. McLaren to Ross, cuts it inside, takes his time, good little flick, finds Dexter Hard, tries to turn his opponent, and a foul will be called. And a yellow given for the contact. Given to Nicholas Torres. This game has already started to get quite physical. It'll be Hard or Ross to take. You'd think it'll be Hard with the form that he is in. Here will be the shot. Will it be a pass? Hard to McLaren, and just couldn't connect with the ball. Calderon, Di Gregorio, down the line, Torres, Ramley, Di Gregorio, good ball through to Torres, heavy touch though allows McLaren to mop up, Hard to Ross, out wide to Florenka, back to Ross, Florenka, Hard, Luke Ross, good ball through and just couldn't quite find Hard. Just somewhat behind him, but a bit of miscommunication. Di Gregorio touched on it by McLaren. Torres takes off now with Diego Florenka to beat. And can't beat him, ball goes out into touch. Torres came smashing into the broadcast booth. And that ball from Torres, turned over. Here's Hard, has the run. McLaren can't get it through to Pizzuto. Well done, Torres, defensively. Ross, Pizzuto. Trying to beat Di Gregorio, decides to go back to McLaren. McLaren to Hard, tried to flick it in, couldn't. Berrien got there. Shot by Ross and just goes wide right, but not a bad effort and not a whole lot of distance there between where the ball went and the goals. Berrien inside, and here's a nice run, but McLaren deals with it effectively. That was Jose Garzon making that run, and he'll bring it in from touch now. Garzon, Vickery. Vickery and Voss competing for that ball. Ball out into touch. And that's going to be a Longobarda ball. Gregorio, back to Garzon. Hard to beat. Garzon to Di Gregorio. All the way back now to Berrien. Turnover. Pizzuto gets a boot to it. Out to Ross. And Garzon will bring this in. As a Longobarda ball, it is. It looks like it'll be a Cobras ball. Ross. And on it comes for the West Coast Cobras. There's a chance here for Pizzuto, saved by Calderon. As I was saying, on comes another chance, and that ball goes long and wide. Ross to Pizzuto. Can they build the Cobras? Ross. DeCane, who has now come on for the Cobras. Ross. Back to Pizzuto. Now Luke Ross again. And they'll just keep on moving the ball around. 1-1 the score. It's been a tightly contested game so far, which is good to see. Ross to Pizzuto. Good ball to McPherson. DeCane on the back roll. Pizzuto, DeCane. Now Ross. Will they start to try and go forward here? They do. Good ball by Ross, and DeCane almost finishes. What a save by Calderon. Came out and met the ball, as he did on that occasion. And fisted that one away, and Pizzuto will bring it in from touch. Pizzuto to Ross. DeCane. McPherson tried to flick it back to DeCane, loses it. Now a chance in the counter. Lewis. It is Suarez taking off. Garzon. McPherson looming. Suarez. That's the Longobarda ball. Here's Suarez. Long ball. Pizzuto and Vickery compete. One by DeCane, who keeps his feet very nicely and goes all the way back to Ashmore, who goes long. Suarez, though, gets a boot to it. Di Gregorio. Shot blocked by Ross. Off goes Garzon, and on comes Shaz Ramley for Longobarda. Back roll by Vickery, finds Di Gregorio. Back to Vickery. Vickery to Ramley, now Vickery again. That's a nice back roll, ball stays in. Di Gregorio, can he curl it around? No. Ends up with Ashmore. Ashmore to Pizzuto. Luke Ross. Pizzuto. Now Luke Ross again. Now some space here for Pizzuto. Back to Ross. Ross with a shot, and not far off. As we just go over the halfway point of this first half. 1-1 the score after Longobarda got that first goal. The Cobras have responded strongly. Vickery gets it to Suarez. Suarez takes on Pizzuto. Can he keep it in? He can't. And that is going to be Luke Ross. As I just noticed mentioned in the comments, he'll be taking that from touch. To Tonchi. To Florenka. Now to Ross. Ryan also now on for the Cobras. He doesn't find this ball. Ross's ball didn't get through. To Tonchi. Back roll to Ross. Back to Tonchi. Now Florenka. To Tonchi.
Yes, boys.
Gives it to Ross. Out to Ryan. Ryan thinks about going to Florenka, decides against it. Ross to Tonchi. Down the line, can't keep it in. And Longobarda holding up strong defensively so far. Ramley. Long ball here by Calderon. Out into touch. In fact, out into the position now of Jaden Ashmore. That ball, you're going to catch netting on the way through, and that's a Longobarda ball. Vickery, Ramley, Suarez pressured by Florenka. Suarez still going, cuts it through Ryan. Vickery down the line, shot by Suarez. And gee, that would have been some sort of a finish if it was put away. But a nice run there by Suarez. And Longobarda showing signs that they are absolutely in this fight. Dexter hard to Ryan. So Ramley got a touch on that, clearing it away, and that's a corner to be taken here by Dexter Hard, who's already scored one here tonight. He's just come on again. Can he have another immediate score? A moment after coming on, and he almost found a goal there for Ryan. But shot goes high. That ball goes down the line. Turnover though. Hard still. Tried to find Tatonji, can't. Ramley now on the counter. He's got a 2-on-2 ahead of him. Ramley cuts it inside, still going. Finds Ryan on that last line. Ryan on the counter. Now Ryan taking off. And well done by defence. And good use of the body there by Berrien. Winning a side ball for Longobarda. Berrien to Ramley, wearing the captain's armband. Berrien goes long, and that'll be easily taken by Ashmore. Ashmore, hard, Florenka, into Ryan. Hard again. To Tonchi. To Tonchi hard. Hard, good ball through. Almost found Ryan. But brilliantly done by Torres. Long ball by Ramley is a good one. Berrien, he's already scored one. He scored another one, he goes down. And it was almost a rolling foul called. Foul was called. And Suarez, if he had finished that off, it would have been all sorts of controversy. But the correct decision made, and that will be Longobarda here through Shaz Ramley to take as Berrien went down on that foul. Here's Ramley. Leaves it for Berrien. Back to Ramley. Ramley with a shot! And gee, not far off again. As Ashmore just tries to find where the ball has disappeared to. Now he's got it. Gives it to Ross. Ross to Hard. Ross and Hard combine again. Now Hard goes out to Cruz. Back to Hard. Now Ross. As McPherson, but goes to Hard instead. Hard on the left, and almost again. That one saved by Calderon. Di Gregorio turnover. Ross. Here is Luke Ross. Through to McPherson. Can he turn around the defence? He can't. It's a heavy touch. Hard finds Ross. Back to Hard, and that time Hard got under it. Big chance goes begging for the Cobras. Di Gregorio. Palermo. Can't get it past Cruz. A nice touch there by Di Gregorio. Here's Garzon. Garzon still. McPherson though wins it. Big win there by Zephyr McPherson. Ross through to Pizzuto. Pizzuto through the middle. Finds McPherson. Now he cuts it through to the centre of the court to Cruz. Pizzuto back to Cruz. Cruz with a shot and almost back post. McPherson was there, but the deflection couldn't quite fall into his lap. And that's a corner to be taken here by Pizzuto. Longobarda have held up strong in defence, with Calderon also making a number of pretty critical saves. Chance here for Ross. Blocked by Garzon. Now a chance, Palermo on the counter, Gazon. Gets a shot off. And that's last come off Palermo on the way through. Ashmore to Cruz. Pizzuto. Through to McPherson, who can't control it. In came Di Gregorio. Ramley. Di Gregorio cuts it inside. Might have lost it. Well done by McPherson, but one back here by Di Gregorio. Now Garzon tries to take it down the line. Palermo ends up with it, but no one there for him. Pizzuto now. All the way back to Ashmore. And they can't really steady things, the Cobras, because Longobarda are playing a bit of a high press, which is making things slightly difficult for them. Long ball by Ross. Gets through to Pizzuto on the deflection. Pizzuto cuts it inboard. And all the way back to where it came from. Ross, Pizzuto. Back to Ross. Now out to Cruz. Pizzuto. Cruz again. With a shot. And wide left. Big shot off the right. Dive there. Forced to be made there by Calderon, as a timeout will be called on the next Longobarda possession. But in the time being, it's a corner here for Cruz. Longobarda have to hold up here strong. And there's a shot by Ross on the deflection. In fact, on the volley, but way high. But not a bad effort anyway, and someone of the quality of Luke Ross can finish those at times. But we'll be back with you very shortly. 1-1 is the score. 5 minutes to go in the first half, so don't go anywhere. And we are back from that timeout. Bit of discussion going on from both teams about some strategies to try and work themselves back into the game. As McLaren comes back on for the Cobras. Well, both teams are in the game, in fact, but work themselves into a lead. Hard to Ross. Ross back to Dexter Hard. And they'll combine a couple more times as Hard tries to squeeze it through to Ross. Can't. Ends up with McLaren off the boot of Di Gregorio. Hard. McLaren. Ball through, finds Ryan and almost back to McLaren, not far off. But great ball there by Luke McLaren. I don't know how that somehow found its way through. Looked like Longobarda had that covered, but it was brilliantly placed. Now a long ball by Di Gregorio off the chest of Palermo, who controls it well enough to get it back to Torres. Torres to Suarez. Suarez takes his time, goes to Palermo, who thinks about cutting it into Suarez. Now he does. But Ashmore there. Now a chance on the counter for the Cobras. Ryan, turnover. Di Gregorio with a chip. Just too much on it for Palermo. And chaos going on right now. Like a ping pong machine. Like a pinball machine. Ball bouncing everywhere, and play will be steadied just for a moment. Here is Pizzuto. Pizzuto through to the target. In this instance, it's Lockie Ryan. Pizzuto out to Hard. Hard takes his time. Moves it back now. Outside of the left boot, finding Pizzuto. Back to Hard. Hard has the run from Ryan. Decides to go all the way himself. But the shot goes high. Calderon to Suarez. There's Torres. Cuts it across the face of the court. And Suarez can't control it. Well done by McLaren there defensively. Claudio Masfinu also on now for Longobarda. Here's Hard. Defended by Torres. Out to Pizzuto. Pizzuto to Hard. Pizzuto into Hard. Ryan. Back to McLaren. Ryan again. And splits McLaren and Pizzuto in half. And it's a Longobarda ball. There's a long ball straight to Ashmore. Pizzuto through to Ryan. Ryan takes his time, goes back to Diego Florenca, now back on. Pizzuto. Good ball through, finds Ryan, Ryan with a shot. Deflection, I think, ends up with Calderon. There's a long ball. Off the chest, but too heavy. And the Cobras will retake possession. Pizzuto receives from Florenca. And they'll combine again. McLaren. After Florenca. Inside to McLaren. Pizzuto receives it almost while he was down. Chance for Ryan. Big save. Now Suarez on the counter. Suarez takes on Pizzuto. Pizzuto holds up. And it's a Longobarda ball. As Vado now on as well for Longobarda, playing in that target role. What can he have of an influence? And a push there from Ryan is called. Is called a foul. Down went Masfinu. Calls from Longobarda to give a yellow. But no yellow given. This will be taken here by Yusuf Berian. Berian goes back and receives it again. Turnover though, Marco Florenca did well, and for the first time the Florenca brothers are back on the court together in quite a while. McPherson takes it down the line, but Masfinu did well enough to cover that defensively, and it'll be Diego Florenca to take. Here's Marco Florenca waiting, and they combine a couple times. Diego Florenca finds Pizzuto. Now Marco Florenca through to Diego. Back to Marco. Out now to Pizzuto. Diego Florenca. He takes off through the middle. Goes out wide to his brother, but they couldn't quite connect. Long ball here, and the ball wasn't on the line. And that'll be a Cobras ball. You can't ill afford those mistakes in a game of this magnitude. 3rd versus 5th. Pizzuto to Diego Florenca. Through to Marco. He receives again and now goes out to Pizzuto. Chance for McPherson if he can turn his man. He can't. And well enough there done by the defensive Longobarda. Pizzuto's got all sorts of space. Great ball through to Marco Florenca. Just wide, but what a brilliant play and ball. And Florenca is down and clutching at his knee, which hopefully is nothing serious. Hopefully all is okay. I know he's had a fairly major injury a couple years ago. Long ball, Palermo gets ahead to it. Now they control it well enough. Florenka, you can tell, is looking a bit sore. But now all seems okay. And that's just under 30 seconds to go in a tight first half of futsal. 1-1 the score. And both teams are in this game. Cobras have probably controlled most of the possession as they normally do. But Longobarda have been up to the task. Diego Florenka gets it back from Pizzuto. And good use of the body there by Suarez. With 16 seconds to go now. Can Longobarda find a way through? Doesn't look like here. Chance to want to turn over Marco Florenka. Palermo, Berrien! Big save. Ashmore swats it away. And the rolling foul will be called on the Cobras, but that won't matter much given how many seconds are left in this half. And they're only on 4 fouls. Chance! And just past Suarez. This game is absolutely up for grabs for either team. And for the end of this half, there's still a chance for Longobarda. Masfinu, turnover. Cleared away by McPherson. You would think that would do us for the first half. Unless something miraculous happens here. We're taken here by Berrien. Berrien has Palermo long. Goes that way. Head on it. And just goes straight past him. And that will do us. Great first half of futsal we've just seen. 1-1 the score. Longobarda struck early, but the Cobras have come roaring back. We will be back with you very shortly for the second half of futsal.
Futsal WA has social futsal competitions 5 nights a week, Mount Lawley and West Perth. Whether you're an individual or have a group of mates who want to play, there's a junior, men's, women's or mixed competition that will suit you. Contact us to get involved in futsal, an action-packed sport and the fastest growing sport in Australia.
And welcome back to the second half of futsal here at Turf Mod between Longobarda and the West Coast Cobras. 1-1 is the current score. As I mentioned, it was Longobarda who came out quickly with a Yusuf Berrian goal. But Dexter Hard struck right back. And 1-1 is where we're currently sitting at. Dexter Hard now takes it down the line with Ramley to beat. And he does well and almost finds Satonchi at that back post. It was never going to be an easy one to finish off. He had a lot of power behind that pass. But just couldn't get any connection with the ball. It'll be Di Gregorio to Ramley. Long ball down the line, finds Vickery. Vickery can't get it past Ross. One by Tatonchi. Turnover though. Now Ramley. Back to Di Gregorio. Di Gregorio to Ramley. The ball goes long. Chance and head there from Ashmore. That ball's turned over. Mustn't have been on the line. Luke Ross to Hard, left there by Ross. Pizzuto. Yeah, I'd probably agree with the comments. Both teams have a fairly even chance of winning it from here. Whilst the Cobras probably, like I said, have had more of the passing and possession game. They do most weeks. And all it takes is one strike from Longo and things turn very quickly. That ball goes through. Collision there with Tatonchi and Vickery. Chance for Hard now. Light little touch for Ross. Pizzuto tries to squeeze it through, but Ramley does well.
Dexter, maybe you take it.
Gets the block. Here's Pizzuto to Hard. Back to Pizzuto. And now back to Dexter. Dexter Hard now. Ross with a shot straight into the hands of Calderon. Very interesting game this. There's a big gap between the top three and the rest of the ladder. But Longobarda are in that chasing pack. And if they can find some points, if not three here, it'll be so crucial to them finding a spot in the finals. And for the Cobras, a win and put a bit of pressure on Inter as well as Cumbre. With games against both of those teams to come. Hard to Pizzuto. Receives it. Here Pizzuto from Tatonchi. Out to Hard. Might have just lost it. He has. But the Cobras will regain possession. It will be Tatonchi to take. Tatonchi to Ross. Now finds Pizzuto. Hard playing in that target position. And he receives that from the Pizzuto ball. Hard. Out to Ross, goes to the back post, and Pizzuto finishes it. And what a play that was. Pizzuto found Hard at the target. Hard out to Ross. Ross finds Pizzuto on the run and finished off, and that is now a 2-1 lead for the Cobras. You could see that play being built up from start to finish, and what a goal. What a team goal by the Cobras. Ramley. And now it's up to Longobarda to bounce back. Long ball down the line, chance for Vickery, goes wide. That was brilliant Cobras futsal there as DeCane comes back on. Pizzuto through to McPherson, good tap out to DeCane. Back to McPherson, and McPherson almost finishes, saved by Calderon. Vickery, and they'll need to clear this. In fact, they can take off on the counter. They probably should have cleared it, because DeCane might punish them. But Calderon on the save. And the Cobras have changed the momentum of this game very quickly. All of a sudden, despite the fact they've probably controlled most of it, Longobarda are under real pressure now. Ross Out to Pizzuto. Pizzuto to McPherson. Shot blocked by Di Gregorio. Pizzuto all the way back to Ashmore. Ross. Pizzuto. Thinks about going back to Ross. Does now. Found him, but it was a tough ball to control. On ball there by Ramley over the top. Can Ashmore keep it in? He can. DeCane to Pizzuto. Now Ross. Pizzuto. Ross. Pizzuto again. Long ball through again through to McPherson, but couldn't control it. Ramley under DeCane pressure. Di Gregorio to Vickery. And Vickery's ball straight through. Berrien was the only one near, but couldn't find his teammate on that occasion. It's been brought in from touch here by DeCane as just a few things being moved at the moment before we can get things back underway. And we're back underway. DeCane to Florenka, back to DeCane. All throughs turned over, cleared away there by Di Gregorio, who's playing that pivot role at the moment here on McPherson. Ross out to Ashmore. Ashmore, brilliant accuracy on the pass to DeCane. DeCane goes down, and a foul called on Ramley. Here is Ross to take for the Cobras. A few subs made from either team. In fact, I think that was mainly the Cobras. Given they have possession, it'll be Ross to take this set piece. Gives it off to Hard, and Hard almost saved by Calderone. He didn't get much behind that there, did Hard. And as a result, it was a fairly comfortable save by Calderone. Berrien now gets it through to Palermo. Palermo back to Berrien! And just wide. What a flick back there by Ivan Palermo. But Berrien couldn't finish his second. And the Cobras still lead. Pizzuto out to Florenka. Florenka takes his time, goes back to Pizzuto now, who will return it to Marco Florenka. Now Pizzuto, good ball through. Back to Florenka, and that would have found the top corner. That looked good, but caught the deflection, and a great bit of play, but Longobarda hold up strongly defensively on that occasion, as they have for most of the game. As Calderone has just come up a bit sore, but hopefully all is okay. Here's Ryan to Florenka, chance, Pizzuto back to Ryan. Ryan's still going. Now goes back, and the ball didn't stay in there for Cruz. Ramley. And that ball from Longobarda isn't going to work, but there was a deflection there, which is going to keep them possession. There's a long ball, and Ashmore takes care of that comfortably. Florenka Takes on the defense. Still going, Florenka. Still going. Can he finish it? He might have to reset. He does. Pizzuto. Ryan. Back to Pizzuto. Now the back roll to Cruz. Pizzuto again. Goes out to Lockie Ryan. Longobarda's defensive formation is looking pretty solid here. Not allowing any holes, at least for the last 30 seconds. Pizzuto. Ball through to Ryan is wayward. And that'll be a Longobarda ball. This will be taken here by Longobarda from touch. With a 2-1 deficit to overcome. Long ball. Palermo and Pizzuto were there. It's going to end up with Ashmore. Pizzuto. Out to Cruz. Cruz to Ryan. Now Marco Florenka has all sorts of space, but he loses it. But he just got that last touch in, which was crucial. Pizzuto. Through to Ryan. Ryan to Cruz. Tried to get it back to Pizzuto, but Berrien there.
Just come now.
Cruz through, deflection, ends up with Ryan. Mesfinu defending. Ryan still going. Now Diego Florenka on for the Cobras. Pizzuto to Ryan. Ryan catches the crossbar. Big chance goes begging. And 3-1 was inches away as a rolling foul will be called as the second foul for the half on Longobarda. As Calderon is down again. And just spending a couple minutes here, regathering himself here, Calderon. And you can hear in the first half speech from either coach, it was John Goodlich for the Cobras speaking about how Longobarda are no easy beat. They are a tough challenge, and it doesn't matter what their form is, they're always going to be tough to beat. They can be so strong defensively when they're at their best. And quite a physical, well-drilled futsal team. And we've seen that tonight. They scored that first goal, and even now with 14 minutes to go, they are right in this game. Just down by that one goal.
Yeah, like, how long are we going to give this guy? Now the coach.
And now coach Facundo Ponce just going and attending to his goalkeeper Calderon.
Be aware soon. We've got to watch this guy. They can just start playing straight away.
As play will be getting underway very shortly, and question is now, will Calderon continue or will a new keeper come on? Calderon looks okay. So that is a positive to see for Longobarda. And it'll be taken here
One line of 4.
with the Cobras defending. Berrien to take. Goes back to Palermo. Now Suarez. High press implemented by the Cobras, not giving Longobarda any space. And you see here, turnover one immediately. But Longobarda win the ball right back. Suarez. That'll be last touch off Ross. And it's a Longobarda ball still. Very interesting futsal to watch this. How Longobarda can handle this high press. Berrien with a back roll. Suarez keeps it in. Now he turns the opposite direction, but Ross is there. Now a chance, 2-on-2. Cruz. Now Longobarda on the turnover. Pizzuto gets a touch in. It'll be taken here by Berrien. Suarez. Ball through to Vickery, but Ross, good use of the body. Ross to Pizzuto. Diego Florenka. Pizzuto. Ross. Cruz. Nice cut there on Berrien. Now he goes out to Florenka. Florenka to Pizzuto. And misses the pass there to Ross. Here is Suarez to take. He'll go back into defence. Good ball by Di Gregorio, who's just come on. Vickery receives and misses the pass. Ross to Florenka. McLaren. Goes back to Ross. Florenka. In comes Suarez as well, and the ball there is behind from Torres, behind Vickery. Pizzuto to Florenka. Back now, finding Ross. Back roll to Pizzuto. Ross finds McLaren. McLaren ball through to Florenka and miscommunication. I don't know if Florenka thought that Pizzuto was behind him, but he wasn't. Di Gregorio to Suarez. Di Gregorio now back all the way forward to Vickery, and Vickery's shot goes wide. And a timeout will be called by Coach John Goodlich at the next Cobras ball. And that will be a timeout called by the Cobras. We'll be back with you very shortly after this break to find out what does happen for the remainder of this game of futsal. And welcome back. 12 minutes to go. 2-1 the Cobras lead. Ross has the ball. Longobarda looking for that equalizer. But they, to be honest, haven't really challenged Ashmore a whole lot so far tonight outside of that one goal. Pizzuto, McLaren to Tronchi. They have held up strong defensively though for most of this game. Have Longobarda. Pizzuto goes back to Ross. Out to Pizzuto, under pressure from Di Gregorio. Inside to McLaren. Now out wide to Ross. Ross tried to flick that to Pizzuto, catches Di Gregorio, and play will stop for a moment. Torres, Suarez, under McLaren pressure. McLaren does brilliantly. Now he gets back to his feet, finds hard, almost down Pizzuto, just out of his reach. It'll be a Longobarda ball with 11 minutes to go. And whilst the game does feel to be in control of the Cobras, that 1-goal deficit will make them very nervous. It only takes one kick, and all of a sudden, it's a level game again. Hard to Pizzuto, back to Hard, and just wide. Big chance goes missing. And Longobarda survived that attack. Hard gets back, uses his body, stopping Suarez from getting to that ball. Here is Pizzuto, out to McLaren. McLaren to Pizzuto, and now he'll go out wide to Totonchi. Totonchi with a shot himself, saved there by Calderon. Torres, Vickery, long ball. Pizzuto with a touch on it, finds McLaren. Totonchi, McLaren, now Pizzuto. Totonchi. Goes to Pizzuto. He'll go inside now to McLaren. Suarez gets there on defence. Hard to Pizzuto. Torres has got to get there on defence, and he does. Just enough to slow play down. Hard. Pizzuto. Cuts it inside. Gives it back to Hard. And shot goes wide. A nice build up there again from the Cobras. Tight contest over there, but it's going to end up with Longobarda. Hard wins it back though. There's Hard, McLaren back to Hard, and again the shot goes wide. He's had a few chances here. He could have had 3 or 4, which would very much help him in the golden boot race. But he just scored that 1 goal, which was a crucial goal for the Cobras to get them back in the game. Has Dexter Hard. Berrien, deflection off Ross, chance for Palermo, it's gone in! And Longobarda equalize. Unbelievable. All the momentum was with the Cobras. And just like that, it is now 2-2 with Palermo getting that tap in, and that goal really came from nowhere.
Let's go, boys, come on.
And they made the most of their opportunity, did Longobarda. And now it's up to the Cobras to bounce back. Hard goes to Totonchi. Back to Ross, now Hard. Ross. Totonchi. Hard. Ross. Hard tries to take on Berrien and Carnes. And the Cobras winning streak, which has gone on for what feels like about 6 or 7 games, is under massive threat. Whilst Longobarda's losing streak is also on the verge of ending. Ross to take it from touch. Ross to Hard. Hard received from McPherson. Ball there cleared away by Calderon. Cruz through to McPherson. McPherson 2 to beat, and did well, but couldn't. In fact, he won a corner, so did very well. Chance for the Cobras. Ross gets a shot off, blocked by Ramley. Now Berrien, defended by McPherson. No foul called, and now it is called. And that will be the first foul for the Cobras for the half. And it'll be Palermo, in fact. Misfinu to take. Palermo one-on-one with Ross. Ends up with Ramley. Ramley cuts it inside on Cruz, gets a shot off straight to Ashton. Straight to his chest. And now Ross. Ross to Marco Florenko. Florenko, good ball. McPherson though.
Hey, what on? Lukey, what on?
Controlled it well initially, but then a boot in there from Longobarda cleared it away. That's Finu getting that touch in. Here's the board we brought in from touch. Ross out to Florenka, cuts it, loses it. But does well enough to get back and probably had to foul. He had to foul on that occasion because Longobarda were out off that turnover if not. And it looks like a card will be given here to Facundo Ponce, receiving the yellow. I assume for being a bit too demonstrative. Here is Palermo. Palermo with a shot block. Corner though for Berryan. Longobarda seem to have a bit of momentum now. Berryan goes for Ramley. Ramley with a shot blocked by Ross. Berryan to take. Ramley again with a shot, and that one was way high. And the Cobras win possession back. Ross, Florenka. Ross now finds McPherson. McPherson gets a shot off, block though. Berryan, chance on the counter. McPherson gets his body in the way. Great use of the body. And in fact, looks like a foul called there on Longobarda. That is now 4 fouls for Longobarda. So 2 more fouls. Well, in fact, 1 more foul and they're really under pressure. Pizzuto through, deflection though. Cleared away. Taken here. Pizzuto with a shot, and that shot's high.
1 inch. 1 inch. Mark up straight away.
Calderon.
Up, the middle. Follow.
Ramley. Suarez. Suarez through. Palermo. Palermo tried to find Suarez, couldn't. Ross did just enough in that pivot. Ramley with a long ball, finds Palermo. Such a crucial game in the context, especially of Longobarda's season. Berryan tries to take it down the line. Can't do that. The Cobras are in that premiership race. They've got to win this game. Here's Pizzuto. Back to Ross. Through. Nice touch in there by Suarez. They try to go long, but to no avail, and the Cobras will take back. Here is Detonchi. Detonchi to Ross. Ross takes his time. Tries to squeeze it through to Ryan, but Ramley there. Now Ramley goes down. And last touch there off Pizzuto. Long ball here. Palermo's got a chance. Can he get something on it? No. Ashmore did well. Got out to that and cleared it away. But now, especially over these last 2 minutes, Longobarda have seemed to find a bit of ascendancy and create some opportunities. They didn't have a whole lot of that in the first half. Chance for Palermo. Big block made, and that shot there goes high. On the follow-up. So it'll be a Cobras ball. It's just over 6 minutes remaining. Detonchi to Florenka. Diego Florenka. Pizzuto. Through to Ryan. Gets it there. Ryan to Detonchi. Now all sorts of space for the Cobras. Florenka leaves it for Pizzuto. Through to Ryan. Lockie Ryan. Goal! And the Cobras get that lead back. It took about 2 or 3 minutes. But Lockie Ryan finds the back of the net. Calderon got something on it. I think he might have caught his hip on the way through. But it finds the back of the net. Down the line goes Di Gregorio. Vickery pressured by Tatonchi. And Tatonchi does well.
Watch your 5, please, white line.
In the chance, Suarez. Shot there by Di Gregorio, saved by Ashmore. Now goes Ryan. Takes on Ramley, still going Lockie Ryan. Suarez wins it though. Contact there by Ryan. Suarez not happy. Chance for Diego Florenca. Now Ryan with another chance. Out to Florenca. To Tonchi. And the Cobras slow things down. Florenca to Pizzuto. Now to Tonchi. Loses it. Suarez has a chance now. Can they find an equalizer? Suarez. Lucas Suarez. And now a shot by Vickery blocked. Pizzuto does well to just clear the danger. Florenca now. All the way back to Tonchi. Pizzuto. To Tonchi. And now Florenca, and you'd think Longobarda need to put a bit more pressure. Try and find a turnover. Because now the Cobras seem to have walked the ball up into a threatening position here. To Tonchi. Ryan under pressure from Di Gregorio, who wins it back. Long ball by Calderon. Vickery's there. But Tatonchi does enough. Ryan. Florenca. Ryan. Pizzuto. Ross. Gets it to Ryan. Can he get something on it? He can. But Calderon does well. And I thought for a moment a foul was going to be called. Definitely didn't seem to be a foul, but whistle was blown. And that ball went out, so it's going to be a Cobras ball.
Great goal, Lucky. Hey, great.
Brought in here from Pizzuto. Hard. Florenca. Pizzuto back to Florenca. Save there. Not enough on that shot. Okay, saved by Calderon. Cleared there by Di Gregorio. All sorts of pressure here for Longobarda. Ramley. Long ball off Pizzuto. Now Hard might finish it. He can't. That shot went off the outside of his boot, high and wide left. But what a game of futsal. Long ball there, cleared by Pizzuto. Suarez. Dangerously, all the way back to Di Gregorio. Now the turnover. Florenca under Vickery pressure. Florenca might seal it. Catches the post. Wouldn't have quite sealed it, but it would have gone a long way towards doing it. And the foul, looks like the foul is called. Timeout called, in fact. And no foul called there. Timeout called by Longobarda, I believe. And that will bring us to about a minute break. We'll be back with you very shortly. 3-2 the lead for the Cobras, and don't go anywhere.
Now, if they go fifth man, I want Luke, Jake, Marco, and Sefo. We full press them from goalkeeper, but not to the side of goal, making sure that the flankers are shutting the diagonal. We're walking over here, we're shutting this diagonal. Let's go to come out of space, goes over here. Make sure you go up to that post.
And welcome back for Not a whole lot more left of futsal. Only 3 minutes to go. And it's Longobarda who have the task ahead of them. 1 goal to equalize, 2 goals to win. Oh, the Cobras, they just have to hold on. And they'll look to put another one through to seal it. Torres under Pizzuto pressure. Been forced all the way back. Now he's lost it, Torres. Hard into Ross. Ross almost finishes. Calderon dives on it. Big save, and then that second dive was big. Di Gregorio. Di Gregorio goes long. Ross gets ahead on it. Florenka, hard. Florenka with a shot, and that shot goes wide. 2 minutes 40 to go, and the Cobras, I mentioned in the before they gave up their previous goal, they were controlling the game, but out of nowhere, Longobarda struck. And that is not out of the question here. Hard. Pizzuto. Ross. Pizzuto and Ross combining a few times, and they'll wait until they're pressured by Longobarda. And they still haven't really been. Now a bit of pressure from Ramley. Ball through from Ross is turned over. Di Gregorio with a touch, and now Ramley. Di Gregorio. Can he keep it in, Torres? He can't. Well, he could, but down the line didn't stay in on this broadcast flank. And this will be the Cobras taking possession through Luke Ross. Now pressure by Palermo. That's more like it from Longobarda. They've got to force the issue. And they've done well. But now McPherson beats Torres. And he will reset. And now they can take a bit more time here. Pizzuto. Florenka back to Pizzuto. Back to Florenka! And what a goal that would have been. McPherson almost finished it. A brilliant bit of play, but no reward. And Longobarda hold on that occasion. Ross. McPherson, turnover. Palermo on the counter. He's 4 to beat. And he decided to go back to Torres, and there just wasn't enough help there on that counter. Pizzuto with the flick. Finds McPherson. Can he turn his defender and seal it? He can! Zephyr McPherson might have sent the Cobras to 3 points. Straight through Calderon, and that might do it. 4-2 now the lead with 92 seconds remaining. What a goal. And McPherson has done that a few times over the last 5 or 6 weeks. Scored one very similarly in a similar spot on the court last week, and he's done it again. Here is Di Gregorio, gets it through to Berianis. Now 2 goals required for Longobarda. They could bring out the 5th man. They haven't here yet. Pizzuto wins it on the turnover. Cruz, can he put one through? He resets, and Calderon comes out and just clears it.
Luke, do you want to come up so Dexter can shoot? No, okay. Just hold it.
It'll be a Cobras ball.
No, just balance for you.
4-2 the lead. Ross. Ashmore. That's a good ball through to McPherson. Cruz down the line into McPherson. In fact, it's gone all the way in. And it is 5-2. And similarly to what happened when Longobarda played the Wolves a few weeks ago, they were in the game, and then with about 2 or 3 minutes to go, they conceded about 4 or 5 goals in the Cobras. And this occasion, Claudio Cruz, with that brilliant right foot finish from the angle, has now made it 5-2. And you'd think it's looking very, very likely now that the Cobras win streak will continue. Ross defending Palermo. Palermo flicks it through, but behind Berryan. McPherson takes off Pizzuto. Ross under pressure from Berryan. And the foul will be called on Berryan. And Ross will take 52 seconds to go of what looks like it's going to be a pretty hard-fought Cobras victory. 5-2 is the score, which is probably pretty reflective of a lot of the game. But Longobarda, to their credit, have fought right till the end, and they've been in this game. That's their second touches it. In fact, it's a rolling foul on the Cobras, and it looks like it might have been that second touch by the keeper.
Yes, it was a kick in the ball. I miscontrolled it and then
This will be taken here by the Cobras with 40 seconds to go, but
no, I'm nowhere near it, but still.
a win seems to be on its way in a game where they were definitely challenged, but looks like they've found a way to get there. Kazuda will take this set piece. We might just leave it for Ross. Can they make it 6-2?
Yes.
We're about to take this shot here. We're about to get back underway. In fact, and it'll be a retake. Here's a chance, Ross. It's blocked. And it'll be taken now from touch.
I don't know.
Chance there for Hard, goes high.
1 inch, Josh, nice and close. Get ready to turn and trust the runners. Get ready to turn and trust the runners.
Long ball by Calderon. Ross leaves it for Ashmore. Pizzuto, Hard, has the run of Decane, finds him, but Di Gregorio gets back. 23.8 seconds to go. Shot block there by Berrien.
Just get it off the line. Like, time your run so you can roll it.
Turnover there by Hard. Ramley. Palermo takes a shot himself and wide. We'll be back with you after this game for Furia taking on Phoenix, so don't go anywhere. Here's Hard, under pressure from two defenders, can't beat them. Berrien cuts it inside. Decane now on the turnover. Pizzuto to Hard. Hard goes down and a foul will be called. And that is 5 fouls on Longobarda. With 4 seconds to go. They get one more opportunity here, the Cobras, to put some icing on the cake. They weren't able to convert that last set piece, but will this be different? Here's Ross. In fact, it'll be Hard off to Pizzuto, but Di Gregorio reads it very well. And that will do us. Thank you for watching this game of futsal. The Cobras were challenged by Longobarda, who fought till the end, but 5-2, the final result. The Cobras coming out victors and extending their winning streak. Cobras will take a lot of confidence out of this going into next week. And Longobarda, whilst this does continue their dire run of form, they showed a bit tonight to take into the coming weeks. So 5-2 the result in the end. Thank you for watching. As you see the stats on the screen, and as I mentioned throughout the game, the Cobras were really in control of pretty much every single stat. And Longobarda, to their credit, managed to stay in the game. But thank you for watching. Cobras win 5-2. We'll be back with you for Furia vs Phoenix very shortly.